one, 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 two, three. לא שומעים? סגרתי. one, 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 one.
למה אני לא שומעת ביוטיוב בציור?
one, 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 one. סגרתי. Hi, everyone. Good morning to you in LA, in California, in South Africa, and of course in New York City. In New York City, I think I need to say Dobre Utra to our Russian community there. We are starting with the series of Dimensions Therapy Secrets are being revealed. Please take your seats, fasten your seatbelts. We are going to fly higher and higher and higher. Today, in our series of The Secrets of Dimensions Therapy are being revealed, we are going to discuss the first secret. We are going to reveal the first secret of Dimensions Therapy. So, what caused a family doctor with 18 years of experience saying that in my personal experience, including many cases, this method, meaning dimensions therapy, makes it possible to reach patients that do not respond to standard treatment? Why would one of the top learning disabilities experts in Israel say patients report enormous improvement as a result of dimensions therapy? What is the reason that a senior clinical psychologist, a doctor in psychology, wrote, Dimensions therapy allows a high level of precision and highly recommend this therapy? What brings an experienced doctor to say hundreds of my patients that were referred to this method show very impressive success rates? You can find all these documents from many scientists, medical doctors, psychologists, social workers, and others on our website and on our Facebook in English as well as in Hebrew, to those of you who read Hebrew as well. So doctors, psychologists, experts, scientists participated in our courses, recommend dimension therapy. It might sound a little bit arrogant, however, dimensions therapy is the best training course there is in the world today for consciousness healing. You are most welcome to test it yourself. Today, in our webinar, we are going to discuss and build together the foundations of dimensions therapy. Then we will reveal the first secret of dimensions therapy. Afterwards, Ronnie will join me and will give you in brief details of our training courses. And finally, we will have time for Q&As. You can send us your question from that moment on our chat, of course, in English, any questions that you want to get an answer to. Also, if you prefer to write it in Arabic or in Hebrew, it is also a possibility. I am Yuval, I'm the founder and the developer of Dimensions Therapy, and I will be your host this morning. Thank you for choosing to spend your morning with us together. Let's start in the very first beginning. One of the main characteristics of therapists is the frustration that they have and experience when they are treating someone and do not have, please, and do not get results. Dimensions therapy start with that frustration, the frustration of the healer, beginning with my own frustration and other of my colleagues, medical doctors, colleagues, psychologists, colleagues, and other therapists. We need to find the right answer to this frustration, and I was trying to find the right answer for my own frustration with my patients. Noah one of the girls that came to me to see me in my clinic in Israel reminds me a lot of myself. Actually, when she came to me with her mom, I could see the frustration in her eyes and in her mom's eyes. She suffers from dyslexia, which means she couldn't read in a fluent way. Also ADHD, meaning attention deficit hyperactive disorder. She has a lot of problem focusing when she was at school. She was 7 years old, and you can see me here at her age when I was 7. And on the right side, you can see my report card from the school, the elementary school in Israel when I was 7. Let me read you some of the marks that I got when I was 7. Religion, 60 points out of 100. And then mathematics, 55 out of 100. Science, 55 out of 100. English, 50. And then sport, I was 90 points out of 100. And that means that I was myself a dyslexic child. Actually, I couldn't read even more than 10 lines in our school books. And I asked my father, who was an eye doctor, what is my problem, and he couldn't find any medical reason for me not to read in a fluent way, and then gave me some exercise to practice the eyes. It helped a little bit, but until I developed Dimentons Therapy, I couldn't actually read in a very good way. Today, of course, I am able to read in Hebrew and in Arabic and in English, and I actually read something like about 5 books a week. The root of any problem is never materialistic or energy related. It might be that some of you are trained as trained with giving supplements to your patients. Some of you are specialists in nutrition. It might be that some of you are working with frequencies or acupuncture. However, the root is never materialistic or energy related. Let me tell you a story of one of my patients. His name is Adam, and Adam was 28 when he came to me. He was released from the army, from the military, from the IDF, in which he was a commander in the paratroopers divisions. The reason for his release was Crohn's disease. Crohn's disease is an inflammatory disease which had a lot of symptoms, and the inflammation is in the small intestine. It gives a lot of suffering to those who suffer from Crohn's disease, including the fact that they cannot eat whatever they want. They need to stick to a very precise diet. After he was released from the army, he was treated both in Israel and by a very famous California doctor, someone that is a very famous specialist in Crohn's disease. After asking in one evening, I got a phone call from his doctor in California, and he was asking me, what kind of medication did you prescribe to Adam? I told him I didn't prescribe any medication or remedies or plants or supplements. I mainly treated him for his negative memories of an inferiority complex as a child. This inferiority complex were worsened when he was released from the army, and that's what I have done. Of course, this specialist asked me if I was some kind of a medium or psychic or anything like that. I told him that I was not. I'm treating him with Dimensions Therapy, and you will find the reason during our webinar today. What is the meaning of treating his inferiority complex? Now, as you know, or maybe I should mention it now, Dimensions Therapy is based both on spiritual teaching, mainly Kabbalah, and science, including physics, including psychology, and epigenetics, and neuroscience, and other different kind of science. And on the side that we are based, we are based on teaching that come from Kabbalah. We need to go once again to the Bible, to Genesis chapter 1, and read what is written there. It says the following: in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. So it is in the English version. It is translated from Hebrew, in the beginning. However, actually, the words in the beginning, which opens the Bible, encodes in Hebrew enormous information. In Hebrew, it is Bereshit. Bereshit is not in the beginning, but rather with the power of the consciousness, with the power of the wisdom. So, Bereshit is with the power of the consciousness, meaning that anything in our world, anything and everything in our world is starting through the power of the mind. The root of anything is in our world is the power of the consciousness. Dimensions therapy is based on the same concept as the Kabbalah secrets, and it begins actually with the consciousness. All the things in our physical reality begins with the consciousness, as well as everything, including condition relating to illness and health. If we are thinking about Adam once again, he diagnosed with Crohn's disease, with inflammatory disease in his small intestine. It means that before he got the inflammation, which can be found in blood tests by the doctors, before that, the problem was only in his unconsciousness mind or in his consciousness, meaning in his consciousness field, what the physics and scientists call the morphogenic fields or the informational fields. From these fields, it goes to the electromagnetic fields, and from the electromagnetic fields, it goes down to our physical body. So, every human being has 3 levels. The physical level is only one small portion of the reality, and that is the reason that in Kabbalah our word is called the Alma de Shikra, meaning the material word. Alma de Shikra, for those of you who speaks Hebrew, is not the word of lies, but rather it is the materialistic word. And in Sanskrit, this word is called Maya, the Maya word, which means in English the word of illusion. So the material part of the reality is only a very small portion of the realities. We also add electromagnetic bodies, and we also have the morphogenic field, the fields of information. And in Dimensions Therapy, we are treating the fields of information. Let's speak a little bit about the energy level. Modern science has revealed a phenomenon which causes amazement and wonder. The more advanced the microscope used to examine matter, the more it disappears, leaving us only to view energy flowing in its place. All matter in our physical world is composed of atoms, and all atoms are composed of energy. All energy is recognized as cluster of frequency. It means that anything that we will take under the microscope, we will only see movements of energy, movements of molecules and atoms, and actually most of the material is made of void. Atom in the Latin language is called atom because they thought it was the smallest unit of the matter, which cannot be divided into smaller materialistic elements, and of course includes all its attributes. Today, the science knows that if we look with a strong microscope at an atom, we can see and we know that we have smaller particles like electrons, neutrons, protons, and today we know that even those we have smaller than those particles, including different names like quarks and muons and other names, tachyons, and scientists still look for the smallest particle, but they will never find it because under the level of the material we have only energy, and under the level of the energy we had only information. Anyhow, from a spiritual perspective, this materialistic definition is just a definition of the visible aspect of the atom. Actually, the atom is a unit of light that came directly from the source, and consisting of all its attributes. If you will think about it a little bit, right now, at that very moment, someone in this world actually has in its body the same atoms that were a long time ago in the body of Moses, in the body of Einstein, and in the body of other famous people and spiritual teachers that walk on this earth. Everything in the universe, including rocks and glass and water and each one of our cells in the body, and all other matters are composed of different compositions of atoms. Life energy is the one energy with the 1,000 names. If you ask a scientist, in science, the vital force that animates our body is called the 0-point energy, ZPE. 0-point energy is described in physics as existing everywhere, filling every space, filling every void, having no mass or shape, and it is cosmic and primal in nature. When we see this definition of the modern science that called the vital force, the energy that animates our body, we can see also the same energy in the spiritual writings of many spiritual traditions. In Kabbalah, this energy, this vital force, is called light, O-R. In India, this same energy, the energy of life, is called prana. In Hawaii, they call it mana. In China, they simply call it qi. Qi is the vital force, the life energy that flows according to ancient Chinese medicine in 14 energy channels called meridians. Meridians is channels in Chinese. When energy flows in these channels of energy, in these 14 channels of energy, we are vital and healthy. And when energy doesn't flow, blockages form and lead to damage to the physical body and on the mental level, of course, as well. One of the main discoveries of dimensions therapy is to have a mathematic map of the connection between our consciousness and the flow of the qi in the body. The flow of qi in the human body is interrupted because of emotional burdens. Therefore, it can be treated by dimensions therapy, and actually, in the last 2 decades, in which we have already more than 1,000 active therapists in Israel and out of Israel, also in New York City and other places in Europe, LA, of course. We have a very mathematic map that connects all the meridians that were spoken about in the ancient Chinese medicine with the accurate baggages that come from our unconscious. So the therapist in dimensions therapy has an easy way to find out these baggages and address them in the therapy. What does modern physics say? Modern physics actually said that we are living in a very small portion of the reality, the material reality, the material level, and underneath the material level, we have the unified field. The unified field is responsible for all known realities. In physics, they call it the unified fields. What is this different from what the Kabbalah says? Actually, there isn't any difference between the physics and the spiritual writing of the Kabbalah. Let me read you what the Holy Ari, one of the great Kabbalistic rabbis in Tzfat, wrote in the book that's called Tree of Life, Etz HaChaim. Behold, that before the emanations were emanated and the creatures were created, the upper simple light, or in Hebrew, the upper simple light, has filled the whole existence. and there was no vicinity, there was no void, such as an empty air, a hollow, but all was filled with that simple, boundless light. All was filled with that simple, infinite light. And there was no beginning or end, but everything was one. Simple light, balanced, evenly and equally, and it was called the light of infinity. So, in Hebrew, according to the Kabbalah, underneath all realities, there is only the light of infinity. In physics, they call it zero-point energy and the unified field, the same thing with different terms, different terminology. Is there a scientific proof that energy affects the function of matter? Can we prove it by scientific means? Anything I must say it like this. Anything in dimensions therapy is based, first of all, on spiritual writings, Kabbalah, and on science. It means that anything that we are teaching, anything that we are saying, anything that you will learn in dimensions therapy courses is based on science and have scientific proof that you can find about it. Let me just mention one simple fact, one simple experiment that was made in Germany by Dr. Verga, one of his very famous experiment that shows the influence of energy on matter. So what Dr. Vega done is very simple. It took eggs from chicken and put them under electromagnetic fields of iPhones for about half an hour for about 1 month with high frequency. As a consequence for that, as you can see in the pictures, 10% of these chicks were born with different deformations, like one was missing one eye, the other was limping, and another one was having a strange color, and many different deformations, 10 times as the usual. Another way to prove that energy actually affecting, influencing our materialistic body, our physical body, is taking a frequency machine, a bioresonance machine, and working on the meridians of the body, and at the same time taking thermographic pictures of the person, of the one that we are using the bioresonance machine with him. So you can see now in the picture the lung meridian, which starts and on the arm. And when people were treated with bioresonance machine, you can see that each 30 seconds, the color of this meridian become darker. At the beginning, it was green, meaning not a lot of energy is flowing there. Afterwards, it's turned to yellow, then it turned to orange, and then finally, it ends up with being red, which means a lot of vital energy, a lot of chi is moving in this specific meridian. Another way to prove the fact that energy is influencing our physical body is a very old way that came from Russia, actually. Maybe some of you in New York City, maybe you have heard the name Semyon Kirlian. electrophotography as a photographic technique named after Semyon Kirlian and his wife, who discovered it by chance in 1939. While mistakenly connecting a high voltage power source to the photography board on which an object was lying, using electrophotography, it is possible to decipher a kind of aura, a kind of halo surrounding the object. Actually, Kirlian also had done some kind of diagnosis because when he saw this aura or halo that emanating from living organisms, he knew how to analyze this aura based on its intensity and colors, and he knew what is the meaning of less energy, more energy, less intensity, different colors of the aura. In our training courses, we learn, we experience a way to sense this energy, to sense the vital force, and also in the advanced course, we learn how to see this aura, how to see this halo that is surrounding the human, the physical body of the human, and we learn also the meanings of different intensities and colors in the human aura. Now, Dimentons Therapy is not a materialistic one, and it's not based on energy. It is a consciousness-based therapy. So we need to ask now a very important question. Is there a proof of the influence of the consciousness? Meaning, is there a scientific proof that we can relate to that shows that actually our consciousness has a big impact on our physical body? So before I go to the next slide, let me ask you a very simple question. And I was told that good morning in Russia is Dobre Utra. So Dobre Utra to all of our Russian community in New York City. And let me ask you a very simple question. How many of you, please, you can reply on our chat. How many of you think that our thoughts, our belief, our emotions, sensations, and feelings have a direct impact on our mental health and also on our physical health? How many of you think that there is an impact of negative beliefs, thoughts, emotions, feelings, and sensations? And if we do think that our thoughts, beliefs, sensations, feelings, and emotion have a great impact on our physical body, so what about them when they are positive? Now let's go to the scientific proof. Is there a scientific proof that consciousness affects the energy level? That affects, of course, the materialistic level. Let's see. So, as we saw in the experiment of Dr. Verga in Germany with the chicks, energy do affect matter. Of course, there are many other experiments. It is only one example. Research carried out in the Heart Math Institute in California, in addition to that of other scientists, have proven that sensations, feelings, emotion, and beliefs can positively influence cardiac coherence, meaning that as long as we feel positive emotions like security feeling, as long as we have positive emotions like hope and love, as long as we think positive thoughts like I'm able to do that, I'm able to cope with that, it influences our cardiac coherence. So, what is cardiac coherence? Cardiac coherence can be measured with a simple technique that is called heart rate variability, HRV, heart rate variability. And we know from scientists and doctors that when our heart rate variability is harmonic and what is called coherent, then it means that our heart is functioning in a very good and healthy way. So usually when we having different interaction with the things in our reality, our heart needs to change its rhythm and move from one rhythm to another. When our heart does that in an harmonious way, it is called in science coherence. So when you look at the first graph, in the first illustration, you can see sinus and cosinus waves, meaning coherent heart variability. This measurement indicates emotional balance and good health, and it was taken when people went through good feelings like security, good and positive emotions like hope and happiness, and good thoughts, positive thoughts like I'm able to do that, I'm able to cope with this challenge, and so on. However, on the second illustration, you can see that under negative sensations like anxiety, under negative emotions like sadness and fear and terror, under negative thoughts like I'm not able to learn mathematics, I'm not able to cope with this situation, and so on, the heart rate variability is chaotic. And when the heart rate variability is chaotic, it means that our heart doesn't function from an energetic point of view, of course, not from a materialistic point of view. It doesn't function in a healthy and in a good, positive way as we accept it to do. That is probably one of the reasons that King Solomon said, above all else, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Everything we are doing flows from the heart. So, one more important fact. According to the studies that were done in the Heart Math Institute in California, the largest electromagnetic field, the most strongest electromagnetic fields of the body is the one of the heart. Not the one of the brain, but the one of the heart. Now, we can read once again what King Solomon has said, and it has a new meaning. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. So, in dimensions therapy, we have a mathematic map in which we know exactly, in a precise way, to refer each meridian and each part in the physical body to the sensations, feelings, emotions, thoughts, and belief. For instance, we have found by the years that the lung meridian is positively affected by the sense of hope and the feeling of meaningfulness. It means that the lung meridian is negatively affected by the emotion of despair and feeling meaningless. So, one of the best things that a person can do to his fellow man, if you have a grandma that is very old now and she's having a lot of aches and pains, and it's very hard for her to walk and stand on her two feet. One of the greatest thing that you can do for her is giving her the feeling of meaningfulness, meaning saying like, "Grandma, I want you to make me the apple cake that you used to do," and when she sees the meaningfulness, when she feels that she has a meaning, her life has a meaning in your eyes, then she got a lot of strength and a lot of vital force, and she actually can do that. So hope and meaningfulness are influencing in a positive way on our lungs, on the lung electromagnetic fields, and on the other side, despair and feeling of meaningless effect in a negative way on the energetic field of the lungs. Of course, this is only an example, but this example has a direct connection to the story of one of my patients, a very cute little boy, 4 years old, Salomon, that suffered from recurring pneumonia. This sweet boy was treated almost every few weeks with antibiotics, strong antibiotics, due to recurring pneumonia, always in his right lung. So, with the means available to us in dimensions therapy, we reached a point of 6 months when he was in his mother belly. The mother cried when I mentioned the 6 months, and she said that at that exact time, her husband died, and she said that the difficult issues connected with mourning, with despair, with feeling of abandonment, being alone and helpless, passed directly through her bloodstream to the unborn child. The effect was enormous. The effect was that his right lung, and you will get to know in the future why the right lung and the other one was actually always okay. The electromagnetic fields of the lung, of the right lung, was so weak that he could get in any chance meeting with another child in the kindergarten, pathogens that pass directly to his right lung, and he was almost in every 6 weeks he got pneumonia. Of course, after a month of treatment, the term pneumonia was no longer familiar to Solomon and his mother. According to Freud, Freud was, of course, the founder of the psychology of the Western psychology. He was a medical doctor and neurologist who had a lot of patients with many problems that did not react to conventional medicine. And by the time Freud has built up the idea that we have the conscious mind, which has only 10% of impact on our reality and on our life, and the unconscious mind, which has 90% of impact on our reality and life. So we need to have a direct way, a way with which we can go inside the subconscious mind and get the information that we need from there. And of course, we are doing exactly that for more than 2 decades already. From the moment of conception, from the moment that the sperm meets the egg of the women, we are starting to collect a lot of baggages, a lot of, we can use the word spam in English. The subconscious mind fills with traces of damaging spams that turns by the year to be residues. These spams is collected in our unconsciousness mind and influence us, our mental health, our well-being, our vital force, and of course, our physical health also, behind the curtains. So we already forgot about negative experiences that we went through. However, the unconscious mind doesn't forget and didn't forget, and it carries these baggages that turn by the years to residues inside, and from the unconscious mind, they are influencing the magnetic fields of the body, and these magnetic, electromagnetic fields are influencing our physical body. According to Dr. Bruce Lipton from the States, from Stanford University, 95% of illness, of physical illness, is connected to psychological baggages. The remaining 5%, according to Dr. Lipton, is due to genetic defects caused by emotional burdens in the person's family tree of life, meaning 100% of the diseases are caused by emotional baggages, either ourselves or from the family tree. So that means that the famous words from the Bible that said, "The fathers have eaten sour grapes, and the children's teeth are set on age from Jeremiah have actually a genetic meaning. It means that things can pass on from one generation to the other in the informational fields, those exact fields that we treat in Dimensions Therapy for more than 2 decades already. Dimensions Therapy actually knows how to treat these burdens handed down the family tree, and we actually, all of us, have inherited cellular memories from our parents as well as from our family tree, and these cellular memories can be negative and they can be also positive, and when they are negative, they are influencing us in a negative way. Where does these baggages, where does these burdens are coming from? It is well known in science, and it was well researched by a lot of psychologists and scientists, that these baggages come from crises in life. All of us have went through different crises. It is just like that. The psychologists Holmes and Ray in the States have used rating scales created according to the active coping rate required by different life events. They have done a very sophisticated research in which they have researched 5,000 students, and they got to the point that they knew how to build from these people life event a scale, a very mathematic and accurate scale that shows the impact of many different life events. For instance, when we are speaking here on their scales, the Holmes and Ray stress scale, on the second, divorce is 73 points of stress out of 100. And if we look at number 7, marriage is 50 percentage of stress point out of 100. It means that an event or a crisis can be defined as negative, like divorce, and has a lot of impact, a lot of stress on us, and also can be defined as a positive one, like marriage, like pregnancy, like other positive effects. However, still, also positive events in our life put us under a lot of pressure, not to mention this strange and weird year in which even to get married is almost against the law, at least here in the Middle East. I don't know about New York, but I think it's not different from here. So the main things, the main discovery of Holmes and Ray was that they have proven the fact that if one person collects more than 300 points in a year, the year after, the probability that he will get ill meaning in a physical illness, in a physical disease, is more than 80%. More than 80%. It means that they have a scientific proof that crisis in our life, which left us with burdens, which left us with residues, as a very negative influence, not just on our mental health, but also on our physical health. As we have already said, the event can be defined as a negative, like being fired from your job, but it can be defined as positive, like wedding, like marriage. And of course, the same event might cause an emotional crisis in one individual's life, but not in another life. For instance, it is not the same to get pregnant when you are 16 and not married, and when you are 32 and expecting another child with love and happiness. Gabriel was a 16 years old high school student, and since he was 13, he had been treated with diabetes type 2, meaning not a genetic diabetes. So he was treated with diabetics medications, but his blood sugars were reached almost 200, meaning almost twice as the normal level. Using the method at our disposal at Dimentons Therapy, we began researching the meaning behind this blood sugar level, high blood sugar levels of Gabriel. We reached a very difficult event involving a plot connected against Gabriel half year before. We have to mention that Gabriel comes from a very famous and influential family in his specific community, and this fact has a lot of meaning in this story. So, 4 of his high school students were sent door to door to collect donations for a good cause. 3 of them decided to make $100 disappear from the money Gabriel brought back to school the next day. When it was discovered by the principal, the 3 others together decided to testify that when they left the money with Gabriel, it was all there. From that moment, Gabriel felt he had to fight for his good name, but not only for his good name, but also for his family good name, because he knew deep in his heart that the reason for them to lie and to say that he actually didn't bring all of the donation back to school, the main reason was jealousy, that he came from a very influential and family in that specific community in Israel. So, because he didn't want to upset his parents, he kept this plot also to himself. So it was a secret that only he knew the secret. However, as usual, the subconscious mind let his physical body know that we are now in a bitter and difficult fight, and we need to fight to protect my name, my private name as Gabriel, that I'm not a thief and I didn't steal any money, and my family name as well, and nobody knows about it. So now let's think from a point of view of the consciousness. The consciousness, the field of information are ruling the electromagnetic field, and the electromagnetic field are ruling and giving the commands to the physical body. So what is the most logical thing to do when we are feeling that we are in a struggle? We are in a very bitter struggle with enemies that speaking lies about us. And when we are in such a big war, we need fuel. We need something to help the body cope in this difficult situation. From the point of view of our physical body, fuel is glucose, is sugar. Sugar can be absorbed by the physical body in the fastest way there is. So it is the best energy supply that one can use when he is in combat, when he is in war with other people. So his body started to secrete a lot of sugar, and from this point of view, it is the most logical things to do. In no less than 4 months of Dimentons Therapy, his blood sugar levels were balanced after we have went through all the baggages that he needs to cope with because of this float. Now, stop. It makes no difference which method of treatment you use, whether you are a medical doctor that prescribe some drugs to your clients, whether you are Chinese healer, whether you are Ayurvedic healers, whether you are giving nutrition, psychologists, social workers, it makes no difference which method you are treating, as long as the cellular memories are not dealt with, the problem will reappear. It might reappear in 2 days. It might reappear after a session in 2 weeks or in 2 months. We cannot predict it ahead. However, if we do not deal with the cellular memories, then definitely the problem will reappear. So, what are those cellular memories? A crisis is left us with sensations, emotions, thoughts, belief. Those create burdens that accumulate in our subconscious mind. So, in his famous book, Joseph Murphy, The Power of the Unconscious Mind, is saying, he was saying in his famous book that the unconscious mind is our treasure house, is our treasure box. It's full of treasure. Of course, that is right. However, by the years, and because of many crises that we went through, we collect a lot of spam, a lot of junk that cover these treasures, and in the final end, we are not able to get connected with these treasures that we all have. These negative feelings, sensations, thoughts, beliefs are accumulating in our subconscious mind, and these are the cellular memories. So, the first secret of Dimentons Therapy is the cellular memories, erasing, deleting the cellular memories. In the past, it was thought that only the brain was capable of storing information. Science thought that only the brain was capable of storing between neurons in the central nervous systems information. However, today it is known that memories, information is collected in all our body cells, not only in the central nervous systems, not only in the neurons, in the nerve system cells, but also all over the body. That is based, amongst other things, on neuroscience research carried out by researchers like such as the Dr. Nestler, Dr. Eric Kender, Dr. Susan Linkswith. And this revelation became clear to the world of medicine also from people that went through medical procedures in which they got transplants of organs from other people. One of these famous people is Claire Sylvia. She also wrote her book called The Change of Art, in which she describes the personality changes she underwent after a heart and lung transplant at Yale University Hospital in New Haven in 1988. So she got the lung from a donator, she got the heart from the same donator, and then she felt that she is changing. Her personality is changing. Among other things, Claire described a very weird passion for fried chicken and beer. So, before, she was a dancer and choreographer, and she was very strict with her diet, and she didn't consider at all eating junk food like fried chickens and fried potatoes and beer. But now, after the transplant of the lung and the heart, she had a lot of passion for this kind of junk food. Moreover, in addition, her preference colors changed from red to orange, from red and orange to blue and green. Also, it was very weird for her. Moreover, she became much more aggressive, assertive, aggressive, and sometimes even almost violent. It was very strange to her, and she shared this information with the doctor, with the surgeon, and looking into the subject more deeply, she discovered that all of those traits were typical of the donor. So it means that cellular memories are stored all over the body tissues. All over our body, we have cellular memories, and it can even affect those people who went through implants, and they have these memories stored inside of them, which were actually the donor memories and not themselves. So, if the information regarding her sudden preference of fried chicken was energy stored in the cell of the body, what does it mean for the following statements like math and I don't like each other, or there's nothing I can do, I will never find a suitable partner, or I will never get over dyslexia or psoriasis or asthma? Using Dimensions Therapy, we have found a way to erase, to eradicate these cellular memories, and this is the first secret of Dimension Therapy, and we are doing that for more than 2 decades already. So I respect all the method to make people be healthy again. Many methods are used to treat people. However, Dimensions Therapy had succeeded in mapping out the cellular memory roots and clearing an exact map so the therapist can reach the cellular memories that include feelings, sensations, emotion, and beliefs. Also, we are able, by the procedure we have in the unique procedures we have in Dimensions Therapy, to reach the exact event that caused the blockage, and also, in addition, to reach the specific meridian, the specific energy channel where the blockage exists, and that's of course not all. Dimensions Therapy knows how to disarm the sensation, the beliefs, and the emotion easily and simply, and to help you regain balance and health. That was exactly my answer to the specialist from California when he calls me to ask about Adam. I told him that if I know of a therapy that erases cellular memories, and so do you, then we can both reach deep, stable healing for our patient. In Adam, the cellular memories was mainly his feeling of inferiority that came from his childhood. However, it's the same principle with other things. This is a fact that has been proven in more than 100,000 patients with Dimensions Therapy in the last 2 decades. So, the first secret of Dimensions Therapy is cellular memories exist as blockages in different meridians. Every body part is connected to different meridians. Each channel of energy, each meridian holds a different kind of emotions, sensations, beliefs, which can be disarmed and exchanged for positive feelings, sensation, and belief. The barrier can be released and the vital force can move fluently once again, which means we feeling much better and become healthier. Before you join our training course, it is very important that you understand that Dimension Therapy allows you the following things. Dimensions Therapy provide a complete map of all the channels of energy in the body parts, in the organs, connected to them, sensations, emotions, beliefs that affect each meridian. We will learn how barrier caused by cellular memories reflect on the physical body, and of course, exact mathematical unique procedure to detect the cellular memories. And we, of course, having much more than that. As all the all the movies in Hollywood is ending with that slogan, to be continued. To be continued. Of course, we have a lot of things to discuss more about the first secrets and definitely about other secrets. But now I would like to invite Ronnie to join me, and Ronnie will give you in a moment a lot of details on our training courses. In the meantime, prepare any questions that you have regarding our topic today, the cellular memories, and anything that you want to ask about Dimensions Therapy. You can send it via chat, of course, in English. If you want to write it in Russian, nobody can answer now, but in Arabic and Hebrew, we still are able to answer your question. And moreover, especially for our friends in New York City, in California, I see that there is also people from South Africa today, and Toronto and Montreal and Berlin and Vienna. So we have a special gift to you at the end of this webinar. You just need to to write down here your details, your full name, your email, and your telephone number. So, Ronnie, good evening.
Hello, Yuval, and good morning to all who are with us. I'm so excited.
Dobre utra.
Wow, I'm Dobre utra. Dobre utra. I'm very happy and excited to be here.
I'm super excited.
Yeah, me too. And on this occasion, I would like to thank you, Yuval, for developing this amazing gift.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
This Dimensions Therapy is an amazing gift. I made a change in the middle of my life. I used to be a producer, a film producer. And when I was 44, I decided that I don't want to do that anymore. And I decided that I want to help people to recover and to be well. And I started to look for tools and to heal people. And
so how did you find me?
Oh, listen, it's an amazing story. So I studied all kinds of healing, therapy. And then one day, a friend of mine, we used to be a producer together. She said, come.
In the Israeli TV?
Yeah, TV, film, cinema, everything. So she said, come, we're going to Jerusalem. I said, what are you talking about? Going to Jerusalem? Yes, you have to see this therapy. And she took me to Jerusalem, and we were up to this woman, and it was amazing. I said, what are you doing? What are you doing? I want to know what are you doing, because it was so simple. The therapy, the Dimension Therapy is so simple.
It's very, very simple.
Yeah, and I was amazed, and I said, okay, Tanya and me, we just left this lady, this amazing lady, and we
therapist.
Yeah, this therapist, the Dimension Therapy, and we went out and said, okay, we're going to call to find where I was going to study that, because we have to do it now. And as a producer, we did it. So it's really amazing, because, you know, I have a story, an amazing story about cellular memories, and I want to tell and share with you.
Great.
So two parents arrived to me, and they were in a big, big hole, very in a big despair. Their son, he was 15 years old, okay, and he was suffering from anorexia.
Wow.
For 2 years, he was in the hospital, and the doctor didn't know what to do.
And people don't know that anorexia actually can be very dangerous.
Yeah. And he was 40 kilo. I don't know how to say it in English.
Yeah, 40 kilo. Everybody understands that it is very, very thin. Yeah. Very, very thin.
And the doctor didn't know what to do. And I told him what happened. We started to work with his unconscious, and he stopped eating before his bar mitzvah.
Wow, before 13?
Yes, before 13. Wow. So they didn't celebrate him the bar mitzvah.
He actually didn't eat anything?
Anything.
Oh my God.
Nothing. So we found out in his unconscious that when he was in the Brit Milah,
wow,
in the Brit Milah,
8 days years old.
Yes, there was a big fight between the mother and the parents of the mother, to the father and his parents about who is going to be the sandak godfather.
Who will be the godfather, almost
Yeah, who
like
is
in
going
the
to
movie.
help the baby. And the father was such a nice person, very gentle, and he was stuck between his wife and his parents. And he said, the most happy day in my life became the worst one.
Wow.
I want that the ground will open up and I will disappear.
Oh my gosh.
So the baby took this memory, and when it came to the bar mitzvah, it's the same memory, it just started to disappear itself. So after 2 sessions in Dimentons Therapy, he's eating.
He's eating and everything is okay.
He left the hospital. The doctor said, what happened? What happened?
What happened?
2 weeks after.
Because anything had a reason.
Yes.
Everything has a reason. The reason is, we know that it's deeply rooted in the unconscious mind, and we need to find it. This is a very unique reason on the 8 days of his life.
Right.
Those of you who are not Jewish, on the 8 days, Jewish people are having a ceremony with the boys, and has a lot of meaning in the family between the fathers, who will be the godfather, and so on. And when he came to 13, when he was an adult already, then it affected his unconsciously, of course, it affected him, and he didn't eat. He wanted to disappear,
right.
literally disappear.
Right. And it's amazing. I thought about Dimentons Therapy with my friend, and I said, wow, it's amazing. We have to put Dimentons Therapy in the world, worldwide. We need to bring this, this message, this gift to the world. That people will stop suffering, because I'm working with so many patients that are suffering and they're going to the doctor and nothing helps them. And here, this is a so simple tool that you created, and thank you.
Yes, my pleasure. We want to help anybody that needs our help, and it's actually really simple. It's not something that you need to learn many years and go into deep information about the anatomy and physiology and chemistry and so on. It is very simple. Even a child 10 years old can learn that. So what are we going to do?
I would like to introduce you to our training program.
Oh, great.
And we have a special offer today.
A special course for the Corona time.
You're going to be the fourth, ambassador of Dimentons Therapy. We have Nechama. She's amazing. She's a very good...
we have Nechama and Regina in New York City, and Dina in New York City. And
Nechama and Regina is the same name?
No.
Ah, no?
No.
Oh,
we
sorry.
have Nechama, we have
Regina, of course.
Dina in New York City, and we have, of course,
that we're looking for
in LA
more.
Also. But we need more, because people need therapists that speak English. So our online course by Zoom for professional training is, of course, we are going to discuss all these 20 channels of energy, and each one of them with his connections to sensations, feeling, beliefs, and other stuff. And we will learn how to find out the exact crisis and the exact baggages that were left in the body, these cellular memories. And the most important thing is how to eradicate them, how to erase these cellular memories, and it is very simple. We will learn it in the fifth on the seven lesson of the course, and we will went through all the unique procedure of Dimentons Therapy until we will reach to the to lesson number 20, in which we will have an exam and a practical summary. And what else do we have in the course, Ronnie?
So the course is 100 hours. So we have these 20 lessons. Also, we have another 3 lessons that is a frequency
Yeah.
healing. Yes,
we will see
yes.
that in a moment. So
And we also have as a practice, frontal practicing in New York or in your place.
in New York City, yeah.
Yes. And
Of course, we had other places, but today we are speaking about
Yeah.
New York City. We are also in the Arab Emirates and in LA, but
this
today
course
we are
is going
speaking
to
about
be,
New York
it
City.
will be live on Zoom every Sunday and recorded, so you can watch it in your free time, and you can watch it again and again. We
have a lot of bonuses this time
Yes.
because of the Corona time. We prepare a lot
Right.
of presents.
So each one of you are going to get one bonus summarizing each lesson. It's a very
Of
good
course,
summarizing.
all in English.
Of course, everything,
Of course,
in
everything
English.
in English.
Sure. And the other bonus that we have is $60, this bonus. And the other bonus, that is the amazing bonus. When I went to this therapist, and she all the book, I said,
This book,
what
yeah.
is this book? I want it. I said, you have to learn the therapy
Of
before.
course.
So this
How
is
to
the
use
manual, the therapist manual that Yuval created, that he put the ways of the GPS into one book, that you work with it, and it's make it the session very easy to go through.
This colorful book is as you said, it's the GPS to the unconscious mind,
Right.
and you all will get it with the course. It's a very beautiful book.
Many people calling us to ask to
buy it.
Buy it, yeah. And the bonus 3 is daily training on WhatsApp.
It's very important.
It means that the class has a teacher that in the WhatsApp you can ask all the questions, put all the things that you don't understand, and you have a follower that answer you all the time.
What is the fourth bonus?
The fourth is full frequency course, including 3 meetings and diploma. The price value is $900.
Okay, I believe you frequency healing. You have the name in the States as at least in Europe it is called bioresonance, but it's actually a frequency course. It's a separate method, and it is a bonus that we give to all our students all over the world. So we will get it in English. Of course, all the material will be in English, also in that course.
Yes. And the fifth bonus, frontal practice in a classroom to strengthen process and procedures.
Okay. This time we are speaking about New York City,
yes,
of course, but we are having this the same frontal practice in other places. You can ask us in person afterwards in the phone about other places. Today we're speaking about New York City.
Right. So all the bonuses, Yuval, the cost of the course is $3,000, American dollars.
Yeah.
And all the bonuses are $1,510. And the course with the bonuses is $4,510. Okay. But today we have a special offer for you. And the course with the bonuses is also only in $2,500 only, including package of all the bonuses.
That is great.
Yes.
This is including also the
everyone
frequency.
that want to sign up to the course, we're going to put in the chat right now a link that you can do the...
You can do it yourself, yes, or you can call us.
Yes, you can do it yourself
also.
or leave a phone number, and we will connect you today or tomorrow and write you down.
Those of you who want to speak with one of our people, you can call us. It is 00972 77 412 1443. You will have it also. We will write it down right away in our chat. 00972 and then 77 412 1443. You can call us. We have a lot of stuff here. everybody here is speaking very good English, and you can have a lot of information through that.
Our helper will put the link that you can
that you
sign
can use.
up. Yes, and
okay,
you can,
just to remind you that you have the right to get our special gift today, the first secret booklet. Please leave us your details, full name, email, and telephone number.
Yeah, and we have questions.
Okay, we have questions. That's great.
So let's see what question do we have here.
Kind of question do we have?
So,
isn't consciousness the same as energy? Okay, and why are there compartmentalized as two separate things? Okay, of course, this is not my idea. This idea came also both from Kabbalah and from physics. It means that anything in our world is starting in the consciousness, in the mind. For instance, this pen, before it came to be in our material reality, it was, or if I put it under a microscope, I will only see atoms, which are energy. But before it was a field of electromagnetic, before it was atoms, it was only in someone's head. It was only in someone's consciousness. This is not my idea. This idea is coming from both physics and Kabbalah. So it is written in Kabbalah that this word in the Sefer Yetzirah, in the creation book, which is related to Abraham, it is written that this material world were created with the power of it is called ma'amarot, with the power of the saying, with the power of the 22 Hebrew letters and the power of the 10 superiors of the Kabbalah. So it was only creating with the power. So it is written in Genesis, and it shall be. Anytime it is written and it shall be, it means with the power of the consciousness. Okay, let's see other question. Adina, what about blood donation? Yeah, this is a great question. Okay, of course, when we take blood donation, the red blood cell has the memory of the donator. However, we know that the blood cells and other cells in our body are always breaking up and new cells are built up. So there is no reason to avoid blood donation, because in a few days, maybe in a few weeks, all the cells that come from the donator will fade away, and we have our new cells. So there is no reason to not to get a blood donation when a medical doctor decide that we should do. Esther, you are asking about, can I please have a recording? Okay, sure. You can call us, you can write to us, and you will get a recording of the session.
A link that you can sign up, and also we have a certificate, not diploma.
Okay.
Regina told me to say that it's a certificate at the end of the course.
Sure.
And
other questions.
Yes.
Michal, you are asking if homeopathy heal meridian. Okay, heal meridian blockage. Okay. Homeopathy is using information, and we need to know that the process in homeopathy is very slow, because we need to give someone, first of all, the right remedy and the right potency, and the process is very slow. When we are working directly with the unconscious mind, we have a very direct procedure to get the information and to work on these blockages and to get rid of them in a very fast way. And there is another question. I would like to know why I see specific number daily and why do I always see shapes of heart? Okay, of course, in order to respond to that question, we need to be in a session. We have the session also in Zoom in English,
Right.
yeah? You don't,
Yeah.
and when we will be in New York, of course, we will have a session. You can also go to one of our therapists in New York City. However, I can, without saying something specific, because I don't know this person, and even I don't know his name, I can say that there is nothing without a reason. So if you see specific numbers, they came directly from your unconscious mind, and if you see shape of hearts, we need to detect what kind of shape you see and when do you see them, and by that we can give a precise answer. With that information, it is not enough to give an answer. Are there more questions here?
What about a blood donation?
We have already spoken
okay,
about all these 4 questions.
So I wanted to tell the people here that if some of
we have a lot.
yes, if some of you think that maybe it's too hard, how can I be a therapist and work with dimension therapy after 4 or 5 months? So it's amazing because you did it so simple that I can see my friends that study with me, and they started to work with dimension therapy after half a year and see an amazing
in a few
result.
months.
And it's possible for all of you to do that. It's not hard. It's simple. It's logical.
It's very logical. It's very mathematical.
Yes.
It's for those with an analytical mind. It's very, very clear, and everybody can do that. Esther, you are asking about blockages cause severe eczema. Eczema is related to the lung, and we have briefly mentioned today the meridian of Planck. And usually the blockages involved in eczema has to do with the connection between ourselves and our very close family members or close friends. And usually it involves, it's a general answer, of course, it's not a specific answer, we need to check it up. But generally it has to do with helplessness sensation and sometimes even despair feelings and emotions. So do we have another thing that we want to share with our brothers and sisters in New York City?
If you have any question about the training.
Yeah, if you have more questions.
About our course, our training, we're here to answer. If you want to sign up now,
and
or leave
also
us
you
your
can
details.
Call us.
Yes, leave us your detail on the chat.
On the chat.
And yes, and we're going
and this special offer, for how long does
it's for 1 week.
For 1 week. Yes. Okay, great.
1 week.
Great. So, thank you very much, Ronnie.
Yeah. We're going to leave the chat open.
Yeah, the
for
chat
30
is
minutes
open now for more 30 minutes.
Yes, if you want to write.
I want to thank you all in New York City and Montreal, in Toronto, of course, in California, South Africa, Vienna, Berlin, and here in the Middle East, to our friends in the Arab Emirates. I want to thank you all for choosing to spend your morning with us today. I hope you have a sunny day there in New York City, and if you don't have a sunny day, we will send you some sunshine beams from Israel. We have a lot. We can share it with you. Thank you for being with us. Thank you, Ronnie. And see you in our courses, our kits, and our webinar, of course. See you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.